Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm coming at y'all with another sleepy review. This time it's gonna be about the new Superman movie. So I saw it last night. After not really wanting to see it, it seemed pretty boring and cringe from like the advertisements I'd seen online. I noticed also that everybody is advertising, um, like collaborating with Superman, like car companies, restaurants, and I figure it's because it's so advertiser friendly. It's Superman. You can advertise to children, adults, elderly, huge demographic. Everybody can intake Superman. But that's besides the point. What got me wanting to watch the movie was this Moist Critical video. I saw he posted a video about it, and it had like this title that really made me want to click it. It was like something about um, it being super controversial or something, or really woke. He said it was woke. So I was like, dang, that's not boring. That's something I want to like find out about. So I clicked on it, and he was talking about it had a bunch of like crazy reviews. He hadn't seen it yet, so I haven't gotten spoiled or anything beforehand. But that got me wanting to see it. So like a day or two later, I went and saw it. So I tell y'all about what I thought about it. It started out, I was cringing a good bit because it's a little bit different than other depictions of Superman that we've seen on the big screen, at least. And I'm gonna keep this spoiler free at least as much as I can, and then I'll let y'all know when I'm gonna get into spoilers. But I thought the antagonist was great. Um, there were a few like things that kept under wraps until the movie started going, like things that left out the trailer and things that weren't like widely known to the audience before they got into the theater. So I appreciate that. And it wasn't like super cringe stuff either, like cameos or really weird um, one-off things. There were different characters and the way that they interact with the environment and other people. That was cool. I really enjoyed it. I was confused about one aspect in it that I'll get into when we go into the spoiler portion. But overall, I think it was a great movie. They used their assets really well. The actors did a great job. Nothing like show stopping, but uh, yeah, there were one or two parts that got me like, maybe three, honestly, because I get they were trying to be progressive and woke, and I'm for it, but um, I don't know. They were not doing too much. I just noticed it. I like when it's weaved into a movie where I don't even really feel it, and then after the movie I can think back and like, oh, I guess that was a little bit more progressive than what I'm used to seeing. But instead it was just like, in your face, okay, all right, and then we go to the next thing, in your face, okay. Like I'm not like opposed to it, but I notice it, and I appreciate more when it's more cohesive. So that's one thing. So I like the movie. I give it like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Now we're going to get to the spoiler portion. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I suggest you go see it and then come back to this. Or if you don't really care to get spoiled, if you don't want to see it, if you're a fan of spoilers before seeing a movie, I guess stay. So one of my favorite parts about the movie was the antagonist, Lex Luthor. I thought he was great. To be honest, his monologues, they were like pretty funny. And I noticed also throughout the movie, their use of music, it was a lot different than what I was used to seeing and hearing in theaters, because they had like a lot of scenes where it was just speaking and no music, or no music and just dead silence. I think they had a few moments like that, if not like, I'm not sure, but their use of music was interesting. And also Lex Luthor, when he was speaking, and like obviously he's a villain and a bad guy, but he had this veracity to him. I like they put him in a spot where he had to act and carry the scene whenever he did. I'm not sure if it was like one shots, like where they didn't cut to anything else and it was just the camera looking at him and panning around him or what have you, but he would go off on these tangents, these monologues about why he was doing what he was doing. And it was pretty, like, I was in it. I was like captured by his stuff. And that was cool. He had a cool demeanor to him. His the tone and his stature, it was really giving off. Like, I don't know if he was method acting or what have you, but I was believing it. And I was low-key rooting for him, like the first half, 3/4 of the movie. And I really enjoyed the way he was calling out moves for the villains to do on Superman, like A12, 6, or K3, Q14. And then like towards the end, he had like Superman pinned down. He kept saying A1, 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 A1. He was getting them with the right. I'm not a boxer or anything. I don't do no fighting, but like it was probably like a right cross or a jab or something. He was like, boom, 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 boom in his face. That was tough. That was tough. So yeah, I loved the antagonist stuff. The clone thing as a twist was like, that was okay. It wasn't something too cringe or outlandish. I didn't mind it that much. There could have been more like story to him other than him being stupid and not talking. But I like how Superman defeated him with he popped his shoulder out of the socket to whip him into a bus that sent him into a black hole. That was cool. And then he put the shoulder back in right after. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, like I was saying earlier with Superman, how he was being depicted here a lot differently than how he usually is on the big screen. Like, he was a very imperfect, very human character in this. He had feelings, he had rage and confusion, and he was making missteps and mistakes and things he had to learn from and overcome, and arguing with Lois, and he was being really soft at times. Like, Lois even pointed it out. He was like, every time you run into conflict, I forget the word she used, but you shut down. And I saw that and I was like, dang, she's right. That's not usually like how people depict manly men, like the strongest man in the universe, to like act with his emotions and feelings and words. So that was interesting. I was seeing him in a different place. At first it was a little bit weird for me. I was like, this is weird, this is cringe. But as the story went on, and especially at the end when he was telling Lex Luthor, this is my greatest strength, being human, and it might be yours too. He was saying, yeah, I wake up every day like you and I don't know what I'm doing. I trip and I stumble and I make mistakes and da 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 da. I was like, dang, he low-key spinning right now. And they could have polished that speech up a little bit more to make it hit harder, because I've definitely been in situations where I'm sitting in the theater and somebody's monologue really like hits without me like having to analyze it more and try to get all of it and try to get more out of it than what it's presenting like. But it was really good. They could have done a little bit better on that, because that was like one of the main pieces of the climax, but it's whatever. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on. Crypto was interesting. I really liked Kara Danvers, her little cameo at the end. At first I was thinking that's really weird how she's coming in here, but then he explained that she likes to party and planets with red suns because they can get drunk there. So I was like, oh, okay, she was drunk. Because as long as it's not like how her character like is gonna be, if we do see her again like all the time, she's not acting like a stumbling fool and stuff. Like, if she can like act normal and like walk straight and talk fine, generally like as a baseline, that'd be sick. But I didn't want to see her act that way the whole time. But that was fire how they had the dog like pounding her into the ground. Cause a lot of the scenes with Crypto seemed pretty CGI and not very fluid. I mean, I guess they don't have as big budgets as like the Avengers and such, because they made things look good. It was definitely like a AAA movie, and I'm using AAA based on like video game standards. I don't know what you would call it in Hollywood or what have you, but yeah, they spent big bucks, but it just didn't look like um, movie of the year type animation and stuff like that and effects. Especially the scene where they were going into the air kissing, like toward the very end, and like spinning. I could tell that like they're being hoisted and they're just moving in a circle and kissing. Like throughout the movie when he was flying, I didn't really question whether or not he was flying as Superman or if they were hoisting him and using post processing stuff to make him look like he was flying, but that was a little off. Yeah, I'll make this. Um, I'll conclude here and quit with my super duper analysis. And yeah, I enjoyed Superman. I thought it was about like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. I'll give it that. But yeah, I hope to do more of these sleeper reviews in the future. And give me some feedback if you guys want. And that's it. Okay, guys, I lied. That was not it because I forgot the major points in the movie that made me cringe and made me think and stuff. So let's get to like the progressive like war stuff that they had going on. So when Kara and Superman during their interview in the beginning of the movie started arguing, and I think Superman went over it really quickly because obviously they both knew the situation that was going on with the two countries or the two municipalities warring or whatever. Somebody invaded somebody else, and then they thought that was wrong, so I think they retaliated or something. And so that was obvious, at least to me, unless I'm insane. But I feel like everybody's going to connect that to Israel and Palestine and stuff like that, in Gaza and stuff. And like, they were showing the later in the movie the people being invaded were brown people, wearing like coverings and stuff. So I figured that's like them trying to depict uh, Middle Eastern folk. So I was confused because they went over that really quickly and like expected me to understand. Maybe they didn't expect me to understand, but I guess they expected me to correlate that to what's going on like in real life. And they're trying to like push their agenda to say that, yeah, we're right. I mean, I know where I stand in all of it, and I know I don't know as much as maybe I could know. And yeah, I disagree with people invading each other. It's weird, but it was always like a not an A or a B plot thing, but a C plot thing that they would show every now and then. And even when Superman wanted to go off and help them, Mr. Terrific was stopping them, like, hey, we gotta solve this issue, or there's gonna be no Earth, and then no Israel and Palestine to protect or what have you. Cause I forget the names that they used. They were silly. It's probably like the actual fictional place that the DC Comics have that they've referenced, but I have no idea. It was weird. I'll also when they showed like the bots at first, I forget if it was robot like 2 or 4. I know 4 was a guy. He said that they had a new robot. It was a girl, and they were calling it she. And then paradoxically, they were saying, whenever they were asked a question, oh, I don't know how to answer that. Well, they were saying, if I did have feelings, I would feel this way, but I do not, as I am a robot. And I was like, how are you going to have your cake and eat it too? You don't have feelings, so you can't make a good decision. And I personally don't care if the dog lives or dies because I'm a robot. And then they're going to say, well, she's a she. Oh yeah, I'm a she and I have a high pitched voice. Like, what are we doing here? Are you a robot, or are you like a robot with personifications. Like, what are we trying to do? I mean, I get that. I never mind. I forget. I don't get it. I don't get it. Are we doing DEI robots? We need diversity in robots. I don't get it. We can have it, but we don't have to make it. I'm a girl. Like, you can just be a girl without like got everybody look, pan the camera to her. She's new here. She's a girl. And then when you open your mouth, you have to mention how, oh my gosh, Superman mentioned me. Like, we can just have a girl there without you like doing too much. That was a point where I thought they were doing too much. But yeah, that's just me. What else had me cringe? It was those two things really. And then I don't think they ever brought her back in the movie after that. I think she died, but like I didn't hear like another line from her. I was looking out for that, but I didn't hear another one. But yeah, I liked Mr. Terrific. He was tough. He was so tough. And then the what is it called? The Justice guys or whatever the heck. They were okay. The guy that made his hand in the Kryptonium, he was cool with his son. At first I thought he was a cringe lord, but he ended up being all right. And especially Green Lantern. I thought he was a cringe lord at first, but it definitely made me laugh when like the guy that can transform into different materials. He was like, "Oh, that's a cool name," and then Green Lantern said, "Okay, you're on the team." So that was funny and that was redeeming. So I definitely went from like disliking him to feeling neutral about the Green Lantern guy. The Hawk Girl, that was cool. Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl, I know them from watching Arrow and The Flash, and from that DC universe, from the Arrowverse. And to be real with you, I couldn't stop thinking while watching the movie that I need to go back and watch these series, however you say the word, because I wanted to see more of Mr. Terrific and more of Hot Girl, because I forgot about them, but they were depicted pretty cool in here. Like, especially Mr. Terrific, they gave him justice, no leak. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was a bad tailed dude, cool as heck. And I was thinking about cosplaying him. Yeah, I don't know. I liked him a lot in the movie. At first, I thought he was gonna be like a guy that sits in the chair and levitates and does the statistical analysis and then does nothing. But he ended up doing stuff. He blew up the guy's like I guess stomach lining or intestines or what have you. The thing that was rampaging that got bigger overnight, and then he helped out with like going to that pocket dimension, and he knew about the pocket dimension. He understood it, and then he bunch of stuff. But moral of the story, I think that was my favorite character of the movie. He definitely like gave me some more points toward like the rating of the movie. 7.5 though is as far as I'm gonna go. But yeah, thank you again for listening and watching, and I'll see y'all later.